Let's benefit from Ramadan. Meet Dr. Zakir Naik in Ramadan, a date with Dr. Zakir, next on Peace TV.
Salamun, 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 salamun. Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace. You who believe, give charity for the pleasure of Allah, the pleasure of Allah. Oh, you who believe, read the Quran every night of Ramadan, night of Ramadan. Welcome, O Ramadan. It is Ramadan. It is Ramadan.
Dear brothers and sisters in Islam and humanity, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, the mercy and the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on all of you. Welcome to the show, Ramadan, a date with Dr. Zakir. I'm your host, Yusuf Chambers, and today we have a special question and answer session on the topic, Qiyaam Layl, the night prayer. Part 3. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Zakir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Well, as you know, and as you're well aware, we didn't have any time for answering our viewers' questions last time out on the same topic. So we've made this special show, and I'd like to answer as many questions as possible on the topic from our viewers. Hundreds and hundreds of emails, as usual, and, you know, it never changes, does it? Alhamdulillah. So, the first couple of questions from our viewers, again. Question number 1. Is the Taraweeh prayer a sunnah or is it a fard? Can a person miss it?
Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. As far as the question is concerned, that is Taraweeh or is Qiyamul Layl during Ramadan, is it fard or is it a sunnah? As we discussed earlier, our beloved Prophet said, it's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 3, in the book of Taraweeh, hadith number 2012, and it gives how Muhammad offered in the mosque Qiyamul Layl during Ramadan, and people joined him. The next day the news spread, and when he came the next day the full mosque was filled. The third day it was overflowing, and fourth day, purposely, though the mosque was overflowing, he did not come out for Qiyamul Layl, for the Taraweeh, which people call. And when he came for the Fajr Salah, I said, not that I did not know that people were waiting for me, but I purposely didn't come because I didn't want offering the Qiyamul Layl in Ramadan is a fard. So from this hadith we come to know that it is not a fard. But the other hadith of Sahih Bukhari, volume number 3, the book of Taraweeh, hadith number 2009, the beloved Prophet said that anyone who offers the night prayer in Ramadan with the belief and seeking Allah's reward, all his past sins will be forgiven. So based on this we come to know, though it's not a fard, it's a very important sunnah, it's sunnat-e muakkadah. That means a very highly recommended sunnah of the Prophet. Though it's not a fard, it's sunnat-e muakkadah, very highly recommended sunnah, and no Muslim should miss it unless he really has a valid reason. He should as far as possible offer it and seek Allah's reward, so all his sins will be forgiven.
Jazakallah khair. Next question from our viewer. Many imams recite the Quran in a very fast way during the Taraweeh or Qiyaam Layl. They also perform ruku and sujood in a fast manner, which makes it difficult for the followers to supplicate properly. Is it allowed to pray in this manner?
It is very common that many of the mosques, because they want to finish the full Quran in the month of Ramadan, in Taraweeh, and they want to make it as short as possible so people finish it, they do recite very fast, and very often you see that they go in the ruku and sujood very fast. And many a time, once I was in one of the mosques, and when the Imam went in the sujood, I went after him. He got up again, went again. I was yet in my full sujood and he was doing a second sujood. Allahu Akbar. So is it right or is it wrong? It's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, in number 1, in the book of Salah, hadith number 757, that once the Prophet enters the mosque, and there is another man who follows him. He offers the Salah. And after offering Salah, that man, he wishes the Prophet, Assalamu alaikum. The Prophet greets back and says that, go back and pray because you have not prayed. The man goes back and he comes back to the Prophet. The Prophet says, go back and pray, you have not prayed. Again, the person goes for the third time. He prays and he comes back. The Prophet again says, go back and pray, for you have not prayed, for the third time. So the man says, I cannot pray better than this. Oh Prophet, please teach me how to pray. So then the Prophet says that after saying the takbir, you recite while standing in the Qiyaam as much of the Quran that you know by heart, whatever the Quran you know by heart you recite. Then you bow down, go in your ruku, until you're at ease. And then say, glory be to Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then stand up straight until you're at ease. Then go in sujood with calmness until you're at ease. And then say, subhanahu wa ta'ala, glory be to Allah who is the most high, thrice. Then get up again until you're at ease. And then continue your prayer like that. That means all, especially your ruku and your sujood. And when you get up from your ruku, and in between the sujood, you should be at ease. You can't go up and down fast. If you do that, it is as though your prayer has not been accepted, as though you have not prayed. So if you pray in this fast manner, Taraweeh, where ruku, sujood, and fast, it is as though you have not prayed. So it is best that you pray slowly, with calmness. And if you really feel that you can't offer 20, then offer 8 rakat, but with peace, with ease, and with calmness. The best is that with peace, ease, and calmness, and long. Taraweeh should be long. It should not be having competition with the other mosques, which we have many times. When the many mosques, they compete, who is going to finish Taraweeh faster?
Yes, that's very unfortunate, but it's true. Well, next question is it compulsory that the Imam should recite the complete Quran in the nights of Ramadan in Taraweeh? Is it necessary that the followers should listen to the whole of the Quran in Taraweeh? So 2 parts to the question.
There is no hadith in which the Prophet has mentioned or in Sahaba that it is compulsory to recite the full Quran. It is preferable. It is mustahab. It's better. Because, if you recite as much as the Quran in the month of Ramadan, it's good for you. So many people may not be reciting at home. So at least during the Qiyamul Layl in Ramadan, the people at least listen to the Quran. So it's preferable, it's not a fard. But naturally, if it's recited in the Qiyamul Layl, it's obligatory for the muttadi, for the people praying behind, to listen. But it's not a fard that you should recite the full Quran. But most of the mosques, majority of the mosques, they complete the Quran because it's good, mashallah. There are some mosques which I know that it becomes difficult for people to listen because, if you have to recite the full Quran in the full month of Ramadan, it is about 1 juz a day, somewhere close to that. And it becomes difficult. So there are some mosques which pray half juz on average. So they finish half the Quran in the full month of Ramadan. Next Ramadan, they finish the next half. All is acceptable, but it's preferable to finish the full Quran, unless you know that there are small children and they cannot offer. So 1 or 2 mosques have it, alhamdulillah, no problem. But preferable to finish the full Quran, but it's not compulsory.
Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair for the answer. Well, dear brothers and sisters, inshallah, we'll meet soon after a short break.
It is Ramadan.
Yasir Fazaga.
Islam is not one horizontal line where everything is equally the same. That is not Islam. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the greatest liberator that humanity has ever known, that humanity will ever know. We are the best ummah that was erected for the welfare of mankind.
Don't live today as if there's no tomorrow.
Poverty is never celebrated in Islam. As Muslims, self-pity does not exist. Watch your character, that becomes your destiny.
Watch Yasir Fazaga in Here to Hereafter.
Islam is still spreading because it is not the religion of paper. Islam is a way of life.
Words of warning.
On the day of judgment, every human being is vulnerable to be touched by hellfire.
Abdullah Hakim Quick.
Men have rights over women, but women also have rights over men.
Mamdouh Muhammad.
We should remember what have we prepared for the day of judgment.
Reminders.
It is Ramadan.
Dear brothers and sisters in Islam and humanity, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the show, Ramadan, a date with Dr. Zakir. I'm your host, Yusuf Chambers, and today we're answering your questions on the topic, Qiyaam Layl, the night prayer. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Zakir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Next question. Where should a woman pray Taraweeh? I think we've partly answered this question. At home or in the masjid? If she prays at home, can she lead the congregation or a congregation of women?
It's mentioned in Sayyid Targhib, hadith number 336, where the beloved Prophet said that the best mosque for a woman is her innermost room, her innermost chamber. And the best place for a woman to pray is her inner room. That's the best. And in another hadith of Musnad Ahmad, volume number 6, hadith number 27202, which also mentioned in Sayyid Targhib, hadith number 335, once a lady asked the Prophet, I would love to pray with you, the lady said. And the Prophet replied, I know you'd love to pray with me, but your prayer in your inner room would be better than praying in your house. The prayer in your house would be better than praying in the courtyard. Your praying in your courtyard would be better than praying in the mosque where you live, where around your people. Your praying in the mosque where you live, around your people, is better than praying in my mosque. So that means for a woman, the best prayer is the inner room.
MashaAllah.
And the way is hadith that praying in your room is better than the house better than the courtyard better than the mosque in your area, then mosque in your better than the mosque of the Prophet. Though the Prophet said, it's mentioned in Sahih Muslim, volume number 2, hadith number 3210, that praying in my mosque is equivalent to 1,000 prayers. That means if you pray in the mosque of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's equal to praying 1,000 times in any other mosque. But this hadith is mainly referring to the men, because no two Sahih hadith can contradict. So this hadith mainly refers to the men. For the women, the best place is the house, especially her inner room. And there's a hadith in Sunan Abu Dawud, volume number 1, book of Salah, hadith number 591. Warqa, may Allah be pleased with her.
Ameen.
She comes to the Prophet and says that I would like to have a muaddin in my house, and the Prophet gave her permission. The next hadith, Sunan Abu Dawud, volume number 1, book of Salah, hadith number 592, it says that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went to a house after appointing the muaddin, and he asked her to lead the prayer in congregation, and the women in the house, they joined her. And the narrator says that he saw the muaddin, he was an old person. It's further mentioned in a Sahih hadith of Bayhaqi, hadith number 1922. Hazrat Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, who's the wife of the Prophet, she says that she led the congregation of the women. She was the imam, but she stood in the middle of the row. And another hadith in Musannaf ibn Abi Shayba, hadith number 4953, say Salma, who was also the wife of the Prophet, may Allah be pleased with her, even she said that she was the imam of a congregation of women, and she was standing in the center of the first row. So here it indicates that the women, they can pray, but it is better for them to pray in the inner room, better than going in the mosque. But they are permitted to go in the mosque, as we discussed earlier yesterday, that praying in the mosque is permitted, but for them the inner room is better than the house is better than the courtyard better than the mosque close to them, than the mosque of the Prophet. But they can pray, they can go to the mosque. If they pray at home, they can have a congregation. There's no problem at all. And a woman can lead the congregation according to the various hadith I mentioned.
With women?
Yes.
Yeah. Next question, Dr. Zakir. Is it okay for a person who's following an imam in a congregational salah to hold a Quran in front of him whilst the imam's reciting?
As far as holding the Quran for a muqtadi while offering Qiyamul Layl in Ramadan, and we do see that sometimes people hold, when we see the live telecast of the Qiyamul Layl in Ramadan, from the haram we find some people holding the Mus'haf, the copy of the Quran. Is it allowed? When we realize that if a person holds the Mus'haf, the copy of the Quran, he is unable to follow that keep his right hand over his left hand, which is a requirement for Salah. He can't put his right hand over the left hand, so he's not following one of the requirements of Salah. Furthermore, it will be a distraction for him to turn the page over. You know, if the Imam keeps on reciting for him to turn, it's a distraction. Furthermore, it will also prevent him from looking at the place of sujood. Normally your eyes should be looking at the place of sujood, that's what the hadith says. So if they're looking at the Mus'haf, they cannot look there. And it will prevent them from various other actions of ruku, it will be uncomfortable, sujood uncomfortable. So it is not advisable for a person to hold the Mus'haf and, you know, while the Imam is reciting. He should just listen to the Quran, what he knows by heart. Alhamdulillah, what he doesn't know, he should pay attention and try and listen, as the Quran says that whenever you hear the Quran, then pay attention to it and listen to it. So that's what you should do. It's not advisable to hold the Mus'haf.
Okay, that's well answered. Thank you very much. Totally agree with you on that one. Alhamdulillah. Another question for you, Dr. Zakir. The viewer says, I pray Taraweeh in the mosque behind the Imam, but I want to pray more rak'ah in Tahajjud. Should I avoid witr behind the Imam, or should I pray the witr behind the Imam and later repeat my witr?
As far as the practice and the saying of Muhammad is concerned, our beloved Prophet said, it's mentioned in Sunan Abu Dawud, volume number 1, book of Salah, hadith number 1370. The beloved Prophet, he said that when the people asked him to stay longer and pray more, so he said that a person who prays with the Imam till he ends, it is as though he has prayed for the full night. And the other hadith of Sahih Bukhari, volume number 1, in the book of Salah, hadith number 472, which says that when the person asks the Prophet about Qiyamul Layl, Prophet said that you have to pray 2 rakat, followed by 2 rakat, then 2 rakat, then 2 rakat, and when you fear dawn coming, then pray 1 rakat. And the other hadith says that you can pray as much as you wish. So based on these 2 hadith, the best a person can have 2 options. One is that he has to pray till the end of the Imam. He can't come away from the Salah and not offer witr, because then he will not be, as the Prophet said, he would not be like a person who's prayed till the end along with the Imam. As the hadith of Abu Dawud 1370 says, that if he prays till the end along with the Imam, as though he has prayed the full night. So the best is he prays along with the Imam, also prays witr, and then afterwards, later on, if he wants to offer tahajjud, tahajjud is the same as Qiyamul Layl. Tahajjud means waking up again. So he goes home, he sleeps, and he wakes up again. He can again pray, but he should not offer witr, because there's no 2 witr. There's only 1 witr. Or the other option is that he prays along with the Imam, and when the Imam, in the last rak'ah of witr, when he ends his salah, this person should get up and pray one more rakat. So when he prays one more rakat, it doesn't become witr. And when he goes home, prays the tahajjud, and then prays the witr. Here, he's following the hadith, he's praying till the end with the imam. So he gets the thawab of praying for the full night. And then he goes home, and he prays. And the witr is normally the last prayer is preferable. So he goes home, and he again prays the tahajjud, and after tahajjud he prays the witr. That is the second option, which is preferable, but the first is also fine.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Next question. How much Quran should one recite in each rak'ah of Taraweeh?
There is no fixed rule per se. There's no limitation, but the Prophet did say that as much as you recite is better. We have in the hadith of Mustadrak al-Hakim, hadith number 1160, that the beloved Prophet, he said that anyone who recites 100 verses, he will be counted among those who are obedient. The next hadith of Mustadrak al-Hakim, hadith number 1161, that anyone who recites 100 verses will not be counted among the negligent. And the hadith of Sunan Abu Dawud, volume number 1, in the book of Salah, hadith number 1393, which says that anyone who recites 10 verses in the Qiyaam Layl, that is the night prayer, he will not be counted among the negligent. Anyone who recites 100 verses will be counted amongst the obedient. And anyone who recites 1,000 verses will get huge sum of rewards. So as much as he recites, better. It's mentioned in Sahih Muslim, volume number 1, hadith number 1697, that a Sahaba joins the Prophet and in Qiyaam Layl, and the Prophet continues, and he, as I mentioned earlier, he prays Surah Baqarah, and he thinks he's going to end after 100 verses. He continues, 200 verses, he continues. He thinks he'll go in Ruku after Surah Baqarah. Prophet continues, of course, Surah Nisa. Then he thinks after Surah Nisa he'll go, then he continues Surah Imran, and continues praying. That means, more than 5 juz. That's how long the Prophet prayed. We also have the hadith which is mentioned in Muwatta Imam Malik, volume 1, in the book of prayer, chapter number 2, hadith number 4, where Ubay bin Ka'b, when he led the Salah, used to recite 100 verses of the surah, long verses. And the recitation was slow, so people used to get tired and lean on the stick, and many times it used to continue till close to Fajr Salah, very long. But the Prophet also said, it's mentioned in Sahih Muslim, volume number 1, book of Salah, hadith number 943, that when you're leading a congregation, do not lengthen your Salah too much, because there are women, there are elderly people behind you, they get tired, so you have to shorten your prayer. And the Prophet then said that if you're praying in congregation, and so you don't lengthen too much, but if you're praying alone, you can pray as much as you wish. As the Prophet, he prayed more than 5 juz. If you're alone, you can pray as much as you wish, but in a congregation, you can lengthen it, but don't make it too much. Don't go too much. It will cause a problem to the people who are in your congregation, the young children, the women, the elderly people. So that should be the size.
Be balanced, in other words.
That's right.
Alhamdulillah. Next question, Dr. Zakir. Is it permissible to pray Taraweeh at home? Okay. If a husband leaves the wife and children in Taraweeh, will he get the reward equal to those who pray Taraweeh in congregation in the mosque or the masjid?
Praying in congregation is preferable than praying alone, as we discussed earlier. Praying in the mosque is preferable than praying at home. So for the man, it's preferable that he goes to the mosque and joins the congregation. But as far as the women are concerned, the prayer in the room is better than prayer in the house, house better than courtyard, courtyard better than mosque. So it's preferable that the women pray at home. And if they want, they can make a congregation at home. That's the best, as we discussed earlier. That would be the best, that the women pray at home and they have a congregation. But the man, it's preferable that he prays in the mosque.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Well, I think that's just about all that we can cover today, unfortunately, Dr. Zakir. We've covered a lot of questions there from the audience, and I'm sure that they benefited once again, as always, inshallah. And we will hasten on trying to answer as many of the email questions on a daily basis as and when possible, when we've had our interview phase. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and, brothers and sisters, all of you. out there who've been patiently watching and consuming all the knowledge and hopefully utilizing it in your day-to-day activities during this blessed month of Ramadan, the month of blessings, the month of beauty for the Muslims, alhamdulillah. Why don't you join us tomorrow at the same time when we will be discussing the topic sighting of the moon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
حافظين ذاكرين قانتين خاشعين مسلمين مؤمنين للإله عابدين.
شهرنا صوم وعتق وقنوت فيه صدق، يومنا صبر ورفق بدموع البائسين.
رمضان قد أهل بالصيام وأطل مسعدا أهلا وخلا